So now on to my fifth question. After you came up with the plan and took the first step, how did you go about executing it? Did anyone guide you or did you have a team with you?
Yes, so again, going back to my comment earlier on, we absolutely do not know everything. So again, nobody in this world knows everything. So it always fall back to a team. It always fall back to a team. It always fall back to bring on good people to not just execute on it, right? But at the same time, we have to get people who are able to think, who are able to think out of the box in a sense, right? Using your word, and naturally they are competent, right? So that is where we are today, right? We are in a very fortunate, blessed situation that people that we hire today are generally very competent people, right? When you grow up, you will be one as well, I believe. Now, but the other aspect that we hold equally important when it comes to bringing together a team is also the entire set of culture, value system, right? And a lot of it would circle around integrity, your own character building, and how do you influence your peers when nobody's looking, so on and so forth, right? So there are many of these factors, and what I'm driving across to answer your question more directly is that end of the day, everybody has to a company, right? Every company will succeed based on that level of competency, that level of value that the team has. Okay, and again, no leader in this world knows everything. And also on leadership, there are many different forms as well. When you acknowledge that you don't know everything, your leadership style will also be influenced. What it means is that leadership does not just come in the form of, like now you're a head prefect. Okay. Yeah. You are leading a group of organization. You are always the front and the center. So that is the simplest form of a leadership, right? You are always walking in front. Leadership can also come in the form of a peer, okay, and also come in the form of a follower, right? You can also find leadership by following other people, right? But as acting as a leader when you are a follower. So this concept of a father, a brother, and a son is very, very important, because leadership does come in that form. Father meaning, you are always the figurehead, right? Brother means that you are leading at the side with your peers. And son meaning that you are leading as a follower, right? And if as a leader, you are able to achieve these three types of leadership very well with yourself and with your team, then I think going back to, the concept of driving the success outcome, then it becomes, more likely to succeed for the company.
Yeah. I can really relate this to projects I do in school, and hearing what you have mentioned, now I realize why teamwork, synergy is so important when it comes to, starting a company or even small things like school projects. Yes. And as a head prefect, I have learned over time that I have to cherish my core team members, because all of them are very competent and they always help me during my projects. And I think I work better when I do teamwork and not individually, because, you get different opinions and then you can work on your, improve your opinion by understanding what different other people think. So I'm better at working as a team compared to working individually.
Yes, and how you collaborate at the same time influence your team member
Yes.
is also a very important factor.
So now on to my next question. Once you started Dr. Anywhere, did you ever face any failure or rejection? And how did you deal with it? And adding on, what would your advice be to kids of my age about handling failure?
I face rejection, failure, problems, issues, depression, whatever you name it, every single day.
Okay.
Every single day. There is no one day that has passed in my life that I don't have a problem these days. It's a little bit like, I'm not sure if you have seen that picture that, people usually talk about, which is that, if you look at a founder of a company, it's really like an iceberg. Right? What you see at the top is really what you see. Right? The company, where it's moving, the expansion, blah, blah, blah. But underlying all these things that you see from the outside in, there are so many problems, issues, worries, complications below the water that you don't see. So yes, in short, I will tell you that I have, before DA was set up, there were worries. Then those worries were all, funding issues, money, like how do we fund this entire product? And I thought that, okay, when the money comes in, the problems will be solved. Right? Now the money, then in the end, we got lucky. We were blessed. Money came in, and now it's less of a money issue. Now it becomes, okay, hiring people issue, right? And then when you think that, okay, you hire a good team, and then people will leave you, right? And then you have to change people, so on and so forth. And after a while, you get more money to come in, and you thought that, with even more money, the problem should be less, right? Because you should have better people, right? But that's not true as well, right? Because with more people means that there are also more complication, and that also means that there's more worry in that sense, right? So yes, every single day, issues and problems. How you want to face with this problem, fundamentally, if you distill it to one very important point, is whether you can do anything about it. All right? So every day there will always be external issues, right? But the question to ask yourself is, is there something that you can do about it? And can you do it better?
Okay.
Right? And that is also how, what my advice would be to people of your generation, right? Do not look at a problem in a way that a problem is, and because the problem can be due to factors not created by you, right? It could be somebody else. So for example, right, if today, someone would scold you, Rushil, right? Okay. The first question you should ask yourself is that, okay, now it becomes a problem, you're scolding me, right? But is there something that I've done wrong?
Yeah.
Is there something that I can do about the situation that you don't scold me? Yeah. Right? And if I've done something already and you're still scolding me, then the question is that, can I do something better so that you stop scolding me? In a very simplified manner, I think that is also how we should distill problems. And the last thing we want to do is to treat a problem that you cannot do anything about, and you feel helpless, and then you go spiraling downwards from there. Okay, because in life, I will tell you that as you grow older, you will know that there are many problems that you really cannot do anything about. okay, and you should disregard those. Always think about what you can do for yourself, how you solve that problem, do the best of your ability, reflect, redo, improve, and that's it. Try your best.
I think I've learned from what you said that I should think about a few things when a problem arises. For example, you gave the situation about someone scolding me, and then what I should think when that happens. And now I understand why it's so hard to run a company, because there's problem after problem after problem. I mean, even I used to think that when the money comes, you're all settled, but then again, some people may have an argument, so there's problems continuously.
Yep, exactly. And going back to something perhaps even closer to what you guys are going through, right? Examinations. Okay.
Yes.
So the thing is that, and I've gone through that as well. The question here is that when you look at your results, you get 50 points. You're obviously not happy with it.
Yes.
It becomes a problem because your parents will not be that kind to you, right? Yeah. At 50 points. Nobody would be, even yourself, right? We look at it, and the question then you ask yourself is that,
what am I doing wrong?
What can you do about the situation at that point in time?
Oh, right. Okay.
Right? The question, the problem is that at that point in time, you probably can't do anything about it anymore. Right? So now if you understand that with that 50 points in that subject, you can't do anything about anymore, then the question you ask yourself is, how can you do better?
Right.
Right? Is there something you can do, and how can you do better? And there's something you can do for sure, which is that you know that you have to study harder. Right? So by studying harder, right, and maybe not just harder, right, but also when you're in doubt, ask your teachers, ask your parents on how to solve certain questions fundamentally, and all these things then contribute to you getting a better result, a better outcome in the future, and to potentially solve that problem.
Right. I completely agree. So now on to my 7th question. COVID-19 impacted your business too, but in a good way. It led to a big growth in your business. And did you see it coming, and were you ready for it?
No, nobody would have seen COVID-19 coming, right? Anybody who said that he has seen this coming got to be very imaginative, right? So, no. I would say that even before COVID-19 happened, there has already been quite good traction, right, in terms of how consumers were moving towards a more digitalized world. So they were a lot more receptive. And we have been quite blessed to have other sectors already laying the groundwork for us. So people, including your parents, right, would have been a lot more receptive to purchasing groceries online.
Yes, definitely.
Buying clothes online, right, and ordering food online. So with that base load of education to consumers on how things could be purchased digitally online, it laid a very good foundation for us to then also start growing our user base, right? To say that, hey, it's the same thing, just that it's for healthcare, right? It's for seeing a doctor, and right now we even have people that consumers can also go onto our app to see a psychologist, a mental wellness expert, medical specialist, as well as nutritionists, dietitians.
Okay. So I think it was not only COVID-19, but people using digital or internet rather. I mean, probably that's the wrong word, but maybe apps using ordering things more frequently. But generally, actually, my question was, were you ready to see a big growth in your business? Like when COVID-19 came, I mean, imagining COVID-19 coming, I was also not ready for it. But how were you able to adapt to that big growth in your business? Like, were you ready to see such a big growth?
So, truth be told, nobody would be ready for that level of growth and migration in terms of consumer mindset. And I think it all boils back down to how ready the team is, the people, the talent that I have on my team, on my bench, to be able to deal with this growth that we are experiencing right now. And I would say that again, we have been very blessed, very lucky, very fortunate to have a very good team today, right? To be able to cope with this entire high growth rate that the company is going through right now. People are also, all of us are learning a lot from this whole experience. And at the same time, obviously, financially the company is growing as well. But what I'm talking about more is that implicit learning, that personal growth that all of us are going through right now. It's not something that you can get in other outfits in that sense, right? Depending on where you are in terms of a business growth curve, syncing with the COVID situation.
Okay. So now to my final question. Give me a peek into the future, something to probably inspire children of my age group. For example, is a doctor's hand going to reach out from the screen in the future?
I certainly hope that someone would come up with that soon. Right? I would never say never, because just maybe a few years ago there was no, many things in our life, including internet.
Yes.
Right? My generation probably didn't grow up with internet. Your generation obviously is growing. We're having this call right now, right? We're not meeting in person, right? So very different perspective, very different perception of life, right? A peek in the future, I wouldn't be that bold, to be able to make a prediction in that sense, right? But as in a prediction of a product per se, right? But what I can be quite sure of in a way is that increasingly people will no longer be conventionally applying what they learned yesterday to tomorrow.
Yes.
Your generation of people, of children right now, when you grow up, when you start to lead the world, you must understand that what you are going through right now, be it your mathematics, language, your science, or whatsoever, they are all just different way of molding you as a person, of training your mind for you to be ready to take on challenges. And that, to me, is going to be the key going forward. Ability to think out of the box, ability to innovate is more important than just doing very well in mathematics or in science or understanding things of yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, and hence, if I may, this is going to be a very important concept in learning, and that is something that your generation has to embrace. And I'm quite sure people in other parts of the world, more and more children today, and parents to a good extent, are also embracing this part of it already.
I really look forward to seeing what the future holds for us. And I've been really inspired by what you just mentioned about, different ways of molding us and, showing us different pathways rather, like what we can do in the future. And it's been a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Wai Mun, and I sincerely thank you for giving me your time and sharing your valuable experiences with me.
No, I would say thank you. And again, right, it has been You have been asking all the right questions. You have been asking all the difficult questions, and I really, really appreciate them. And I sincerely hope that in some way or another, do pass this message, this conversation that we had today along, right, to more people, right, to more of your friends, family, right, and hopefully you and I, and your friends and your family would work towards creating a better tomorrow for everyone.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Wai Mun.
Thank you so much, Rushil.
That's all for now. Thank you everyone for listening in. I hope you found it interesting. I look forward to your likes and feedback. Goodbye.